The West Indies. The West Indies. The West Indies aimed to silence the Kiwis on Saturday in Old Trafford. Now, these teams have had their battles over the last few seasons, and in these games, the West Indies have come out on the sour end of the stick. We can look to the 2017-2018 tour of New Zealand, in which the West Indies went under by 3 games. Yes, the Black Caps secured a whitewash. Ironic, isn't it? And then we could also look to the last time the West Indies played New Zealand in the World Cup. It was in 2015, where the West Indies went under by 143 runs. In a record-breaking knock, Martin Guptill scored 237 runs against the Windies. Yeah, 237. That is some team's overall score in the match. So you could just imagine how ballistic he went on that day. Now, the West Indies can lean on this little success they had over New Zealand prior to the tournament. In a warm-up match, the West Indies scored 421 runs against the Kiwis and won by 91 runs. Now, that was a warm-up match, and this is the World Cup, where the New Zealand team have been in a good run of form, seeing that they are second in the table right under the Australians. Unlike most teams in the international circuit, the New Zealand team does not really have much of an X-factor aspect to the team, whether it be a hard-hitting middle order batsman or a wicket-taking bowler. The New Zealand team have a complex where they are simple but yet effective. They do the little things right. They win many battles on the field, which contribute to their overall success. An advantage that the Kiwis can look at that they have over the West Indies is that a lot of Kiwis apply their trade in the CPL. The likes of Kane Williamson, Martin Guptill, Colin Munro, Ross Taylor all play for different franchises in the CPL. So they are quite familiar with the West Indian players, playing alongside them as well as against them. So they may be able to seek out the little quirks that they may have that they could take advantage of. But in return, this should be advantage for the West Indies as well, seeing that they have also played alongside these players. It's just up to the West Indian camp to take that knowledge that they had from that tournament as well as applying it in this game to reap success. Now we look at the strengths of the New Zealand lineup. They are heavily reliant on their top order, with Martin Guptill and Colin Munro at the top, who can play their shots and give the team a good start. And seeing that Colin Munro was the top scorer of the CPL last year, he'll be using his knowledge in this game as well. And following that pair is their captain, Kane Williamson. Yes, Mr. Cool, Mr. Tempered Head. Under any circumstance, he looks to be calm. He rarely shows emotion, but he looks for those little battles in which he can build on and execute as well as overcome. In the last match, he scored a very timely and successfully carried his team over with 100. How will he do on this day, seeing that he's accustomed to these West Indian bowlers as well, seeing that he played for Barbados Trident for the last couple of years, as well as he's been the top batsman, one of the top batsmen in the world across all formats. We'll have to see how we will handle the situation on this wicket in Old Trafford. And they could also lean on the experience of Ross Taylor, who has been a run machine for them for the last few years and also their most experienced player on the side. And again, he has played in the CPL, so he's quite familiar with some of these players again, a trend that we are seeing with a lot of them. Another strength for them is their teasing and accurate bowling attack. They open well with Matt Henry and Trent Boult, who can swing the ball in and away from any batsman, causing some issues with any opening pair. And when they let off, there's Lockie Ferguson, who will come through with sheer pace to throw off any batsman at the wicket. So you can say they have a competent pace attack, as well as they have the spinners Mitchell Santner and Ish Sodhi, who has not really featured in the World Cup as much, can be a factor in this game because he has had success over the West Indies over the last few years. So the New Zealand team looks like they will be keeping that team together, that caucus of that team, to play against this West Indies team. Now we look to the Windy side. Again, we can touch on their bowling tactics. do not overuse the short ball. Do not be one-dimensional. Try to mix it up. Throw in a little short ball now and again, but also try to pitch up the ball to get some yorkers as well as some slower balls to throw off these batsmen, because they will be expecting the short ball like Bangladesh did. And they will be capitalizing on these because the Kiwis as well as the Australians are well adapted to the short bowling. So they must be mindful of the conditions and bowl to suit. As well as in the field, they must be alert, must be aggressive, and must attack the ball with some purpose and look for the runouts, as well as take the catches in the field so they could turn the tide of the game and put it in their favour. And well, we can look to the batting. We didn't see much wrong with the batting in the last game, although they allowed for a lot of dot balls to accumulate. But I still think a 320 score would not be enough against this New Zealand team. They will have to push to see how close they could get over 350 or 360 to be a competitive total against this team that has shown great form in the tournament thus far. Now, it's up for these teams to execute on the field. All the planning could take place. It could still be taking place at this moment, but when game day is here, they will have to see who can execute the best, and that team will come out on top. Who's your pick? Will it be the Black Caps of New Zealand or the Men in Maroon of the West Indies? We'll have to wait and see.